What's up, everybody? It's the first duo episode of the Operators Podcast. It's also the first episode to start recording on time with no audio issues. So Matt was here on time. I was here on time. Our microphones worked. It's a first in Operators history. A little behind the scene knowledge that Mike and Jason have no idea how computers work. So they show up late every time.
I could sell a ton of pans and a lot of drinkware, but a microphone, my God. It's tricky. I don't know if you saw this like Amazon and Meta have actually officially partnered to do the one-click checkout right from Facebook shops. And the checkout and the button is like pay with Amazon. So it's the cleanest, at least I think it's the cleanest of all the Facebook shops integrations now. Right, from a user's perspective, like it's super friction light.
Yeah, is it officially live? Like, can people sign up?
I don't know. I think I saw the announcement. I don't know if they're rolling it out in phases or waves or like some people. But dude, like that almost feels like another cheat code for Amazon to win.
Well, dude, and Meta, right? Like, let's talk about like the psychology why they're doing this. I think it comes down to three buckets. The first is Meta and Apple don't get along, right? Very famously, those two companies don't get along.
You don't say.
Yeah. And what do they disagree about? Well, Apple was getting a lot of pushback from the EU and regulators in the United States about the App Store's 30% cut. And they went to Meta and they said, give us 30% of all in-app promotional spend for Instagram. So what that is not Ads Manager, because that's desktop, but when you promote a post inside of Instagram, they wanted 30% of that. Meta said no, but Apple's like, if you agree, we have enough regulation that they'll like the EU won't be able to blow up our App Store thing, right? They wanted to get more companies to comply with their regulation and agree that it's anti-competitive. Meta said no. So Meta's like, well, I'm going to turn off all the data flow, right? So that's what caused the travesty of 2021 on iOS 14. So that brings us to now where Facebook spent 18 months and $10 billion rebuilding data flows. And now they're going to Amazon, another company that Apple has a tepid relationship with and is building a tighter bond. And this is with Amazon opening up regulation, right? So they're opening up the walled gardens and these two gardens are going to be connected. They've already done this for Shopify, right? Now Shopify has, checkout with Shopify, or it's checkout with Prime on Shopify. Yep. So it's awesome to see the tech giants getting tighter together. But Matt, are you going to try it?
It's terrifying. I mean, I'm definitely going to give it a shot for sure. I think you have to give all of this stuff a try, man. I don't think it's easy for anybody to just discount it like wholesale. Do you think that Amazon is feeding extra data to Facebook as part of this deal?
Well, let's explain why. So the first reason was Facebook hates Apple. The second reason is Amazon's very worried about Temu and TikTok Shop, right? And, my enemy's enemy, or whatever that saying is, because Facebook also hates TikTok Shop. So this is something where those executives could get together and be like, hey, we have a common enemy. We don't want to see them win. Let's form a tighter bond. So I definitely think Amazon is feeding back conversion data to Facebook for the first time.
They have to be. And you got to think Amazon has to be Facebook's largest customer. Like by a landslide.
I mean, we've heard in chat that Amazon spends so much on Facebook that they will change the algorithm to favor Amazon links around Prime days. The reason why October sucked was because this is all alleged. You can't sue me. It's alleged. Allegedly,
we have no confirmed reports.
Yeah, allegedly, early October was bad for everybody because Meta and Facebook changed ad auctions and algorithms to favor Amazon because they have so much money coming in. They give just as much ad space as possible to them. So
I'm mixed feelings on this, man. I think I ultimately think that for Facebook, Instagram, or for Meta, they're building a better user experience. So I think from a user's perspective, that's great. As a merchant, I don't love these two bedfellows, given how much of how many the fee stack that they already command, just share of fee stack. I'm not talking share of consumer wallet, but what folks like you and I actually pay all of these providers and marketplaces and payment gateways, and pick one, right? It's like everybody's taking their little cut of the commerce fee stack. And this feels as though a perfect setup to take a larger cut of the fee stack.
Matt, you say a little cut of the fee stack.
Yeah, it adds up to a very large number.
They're each taking 50%. There's nothing left over. But look, I think it's an interesting dynamic chessboard to play where, Facebook and Shopify play very closely together, right? They play very nice. Facebook and Amazon are playing very closely together because they have common enemies. And you're starting to see Shopify and Amazon work together.
Yeah.
But all of these companies kind of have competing interests because Facebook really wants shops to work. And I'm doing significant volume on Facebook shops.
It's a killer channel, man. They've goosed it too, right? And in auctions, and they've definitely given it some more legs this year. That I do wonder though if no, that's just conjecture. Look, I think that ultimately when we run Facebook ads, you or I or anybody, right? We're trying to drive traffic off platform to our site. And part of what makes ads work at large scale is the halo effect of the ads. So whatever your 1 day click is, you're not getting back all your money on the day that you spend it, right? Very few people are at large scale. Does that formula change for you or for other large spenders if you're spending ad dollars? Those dollars are being returned now directly on Amazon because of the web shops, Facebook shops integration. And you don't get shit as far as customer data or anything from Amazon. So does our media buying math change if more and more transaction capture is no longer now on Facebook shops, but it's actually over on Amazon and they don't like to give us anything?
Yeah, it's almost that we're going to have to start demanding that they give us more and more. Because how does Amazon set itself apart from Temu or TikTok shops, right? I talked to Amazon senior leadership and they're like, we're the premium player. They're like, we're never going to be the cheap player that TikTok shop or Temu is. And it's like, are you the premium player? Do you act like a premium player? Are we curating branded experiences? Or do you kind of just feel just like Temu?
I wonder if this is Amazon's, when Amazon came along, Walmart went from being the bastard to being the best friend. As if you're a brand, I got so many friends that have been selling stuff for so long, and they were like, Amazon was amazing because they actually made Walmart really nice to us as a merchant. And I wonder if this whole Temu TikTok thing is going to force Amazon and Facebook to move from being the bully in the room to now being your buddy.
Dude, I think so completely. They want premium brands and they want brands who can support their fee structure. And if you're selling a $20 item, you can't. So I think they'll have to start rolling out the red carpet for more D2C brands. But your question was, does it change media buying math? If the halo stops and you start seeing full attribution captured inside of Facebook, does it change your media buying math? And maybe that's the tangent of this episode, how media buying math has changed in the past 10 years. We're coming up on close to 10 years of Facebook ads.
Yep.
And it used to be that you would spend $1 on Facebook, it would show 6x inside of your platform. And you'd be like, that's pretty good. And now it's, we see a
0.6.
Yeah, 0.6. And we're like, oh yeah, we capture that on wholesale. We capture that on Amazon, whatever else. So media buying math has already changed. And I guess what you're saying is with better data windows, you could actually just figure out how low to the ground you actually are running without any of that halo guesswork.
Well,
So,
also like part of your media buying math is like at least making it work is email and SMS capture and getting those customers later. So a lot of us build our funnel using paid media, like soak the sponge, right? Like that's where we generate demand and we capture that demand in other places. But if more and more of the capture is happening in platform on Meta, and in particular, it's the Amazon piece that I'm terrified of because of how like walled garden Amazon's data actually is. Like when you think about how sophisticated that company is and we look at the seller tools that we get as merchants on Amazon, it's hilarious. It is like, I know that we have an automobile and I know that you know that we drive an automobile, but we're going to give you a donkey instead. And that's the tool set that you have as a merchant to sell on Amazon. So like just the I think it's just like my own PTSD of Amazon. I don't like that it's coming into the Facebook ads world.
yeah, I think that's very fair. And for anyone listening who doesn't sell on Amazon, what Matt's referring to is that Seller Central and the actual marketing tools you have access to have not changed since 2012, maybe even earlier, 2008.
Oh,
Like
they're so bad.
they're archaic tools. And that's where you have to give Shopify its flowers. Like the reason why Shopify wins is not only is it way cheaper than selling on Amazon, but they make it better. Like they've rolled out more things to make it better.
Do you believe that? Do you think that it's cheaper to sell on Shopify than it is on Amazon, even today? Like with how media buying has changed and traffic acquisition, like all of it. Do we think that, like so if I'm going to play the bull case for this might be incredible for brands. Like if we want to focus on making great products and building a brand, a lot of this shit, like demand and capture, it's like it doesn't feel core to the business sometimes. So the bull case for this is Amazon and Facebook getting tighter and tighter means better data flows to Facebook, which means better targeting, which means better efficiency. Facebook now becomes much more a like commerce driven ad platform as opposed to like the ad platform for anybody doing anything to generate demand, like lead gen, travel, whatever. Like, when you look at the data from the last 12 months, it is commerce that's driving a lot of Facebook's results. So like the physical things. So maybe this is a net positive. Like maybe this is where it needs to go.
Right. We should look at both companies' motivations. GMV value on Amazon.com is flat and ad revenue is growing. They want to grow their ad business. That is, without a doubt, Amazon's top objective right now. It's the fastest growing section of their entire company, faster than cloud, faster than anything else. They want to grow their ads business. Conversely, Facebook wants to grow their commerce business. They want to grow shops because TikTok shops is a threat. And they know that they missed the whole Shopify shouldn't be a company. Facebook should have figured that out way ahead of time. And
Yeah.
it's a big fuck up that they didn't. So that's yin and yang. Those two things complement each other. Facebook wants more commerce revenue. Amazon wants more ad revenue. Those are two bedfellows. They are going to work together, and that's what we're seeing happen. They're completing
And with the
each other.
Shopify Amazon thing, you have to imagine there's a future here where the three of them are talking more.
Yeah, and so the flip side is what is Shopify's long play? If we know Amazon wants ad revenue and we know Facebook wants commerce revenue, where does Shopify fit in this? Well, Shopify wants to go after everyone who isn't on Shopify because at the end of the day, Rimowa will not sell luggage on Amazon. It won't ever happen. They're not going to sell it on Facebook shops, but they want a branded experience and they want that. And then the other big play is Shopify. Shopify wants the shop app to be a destination and they want it to be a checkout module that everyone uses. That is the fast.com of the open internet, right? What fast.com promised was one-click checkout everywhere. Shopify is delivering on that promise. So you can see how the three players have something in common, but it really is big brother, little brother. Shopify is the little brother.
Yeah, no question. And the shop app, like it's a great product. The team over there at Shopify that's built it has built a really great product. I still don't know how they drive like more and more demand to it. Like as a user of the product, I don't ever open the product up from a like discovery
Yeah.
perspective. Like I'm not going there to be like, I wonder what's cool in the world of stuff today.
Yeah. So here's what I think is going to happen. And this is no inside information, but I'm going to guess within 12 months, you see this announced. They're going to roll out uh, like events and experience tickets inside the Shop app. So they have this big partnership with Drake. And I think Drake's going to do a show or a tour. And the only way to get access to it is through the Shop app, like circumventing Ticketmaster
Right.
and running physical events and ticketing the same way they run commerce. And there's a lot of red tape there. The Ticketmaster has a near monopoly because they own a lot of the venues. But I think that's something that they're going to start doing is start getting they want to be the infrastructure of commerce, similar to what Stripe's doing. And I think Shop app starts being a one-stop checkout for all those different types of things.
Yeah, it's a cool prediction, man. Because, building on experiences, you can generate a lot of app demand. Right. And then then it's on Shop to keep it sticky. I really do think this like Shopify, Amazon, Meta little trifecta is fascinating to think of purely in the context of like how the hell are they going to fight off the Temu, TikTok, like this. It feels like an all out assault from China on American commerce. Like there's just like the amount of money they're willing to bleed to try to
Yeah.
get market share is crazy.
And the reason for that is interest rates in China are still very low. So interest rates are different globally. That's something that people need to kind of wrap their head around, that you can still borrow money in Japan and it's very, very close to zero because they don't have an inflation issue. China's the same way. And I think a lot of people think the CCP is somehow behind it. They're trying to take over commerce.
Nope.
Those companies hate each other and they're trying to fuck each other over. And what they're trying to do is that China is a collapsing economy. I wouldn't say it's collapsing, but it's definitely not a center of growth for the next 10 years. So the companies are like, our future needs to be in a growing economy, and America's still the most mature, decently growing economy out there. So it's just
Which is kind of insane when you think about it. Like there's 8 billion people on the planet and everybody's obsessed with like the 350 million in the US. Like if you're Temu or you're Shein or Shine or whatever the hell that company is called, or like all of these players, they're just so incredibly focused on the American consumer. And I get why, like great consumer, but the size and scope of the planet at a like just population, you would think that like the longer bet would be go take on India, man. Or like Africa. Like, you're selling shit for 99 cents. Like, why the hell does it matter that you're selling something for 99 cents to an American? Like, if you're going to subsidize losses, go after a much larger population that long term might be a better bet.
Yeah, look, I think it comes down to very rich consumers, infrastructure, very easy to reach. You put up Facebook ads and UPS and USPS and
You
roads,
can
everything.
deliver.
Yeah,
Yep.
everything works. And the third one is something we all fall into, is this appeal of LTV. They're like, if for every US customer I acquire, I have to acquire 30 people in Africa or whatever. And also,
Yeah.
I mean, free market. Like India is having staunch anti-China regulation put in place, and I think Chinese sentiment globally is pretty low. Where in America, for all the chest beating you see, we don't pass laws against anything ever that interrupts with commerce. So it's
No. We like cheap stuff. So yeah, we want costs to go down in most things. Do you think that Temu, TikTok, are they going to take a serious bite out of Q4 this year
no,
with everything they've been doing?
no. I saw reporting that TikTok shops at 10 million GMV per day, and Temu's at 30 million GMV per day. So to put that in perspective, Amazon's GMV per day is $1.5 billion per day. That's not Q4 adjusted. That is just on the entire year. But
so Amazon does $1.4 billion per day in GMV.
Correct.
And Temu is doing 30 million a day.
Yes.
TikTok does another 30 million a day.
10 million.
10 million a day. Yeah, that's not even a fart in the wind compared to Amazon. Like, that's a lot of browbeating for not a lot of movement.
Yeah, well, what is that? It's that Temu is at 3% GMV of Amazon. So, look, it's not
3% is not nothing for the
Yeah.
largest merchant, and Amazon being the largest merchant in the world. I think the thing I question though, man, is even with interest rates low, is there's a limit to that level of losses and that level of spending. There is a clock that's ticking where they have to start showing that LTV model work, because it's a trying to get Amazon and a Walmart and a Target. Like, think it's not just Amazon that they're actually going after. You have like the biggest retailers that they all have a piece of this pie, a meaningful piece, and they're trying to take like all of them on with just cheaper.
The Sendlane team is obviously thought leaders in the messaging space. Jimmy regularly is posting on Twitter and giving insights of how you can be more effective at communicating with your customers on own messaging. And listen, we all know CPMs are only going up. If there's a core competency you have to develop, you have to get great at messaging, and Sendlane is an excellent option. We loved being there for a live operators pod. Hope everybody enjoyed listening to it. And we're thankful to have Sendlane as one of our sponsors.
I've tried to invest in Sendlane. Like, I've tried to speak about putting your money where your mouth is. Jimmy will not let me on the cap table. I don't know why, but it's a product I believe in so much in this market that I am trying to put my own money into it. So, Jimmy, this is a call for help. Let me invest in your software, dude. It's really good. Yeah, so let's talk TikTok versus Temu first. I think Temu has a more of a shot than TikTok. TikTok shops, I don't know who it's actually for. It's social commerce, which has never worked in America. I mean, it's QVC, which like maybe our parents' generation, and that's like, okay, the modern version of it. I don't know what QVC's GMV ended up getting to, and I think the world's changed. I think they're ruining their app. So remove TikTok
QVC is
shop.
not that big.
Yeah. So let's just talk about Temu then. Okay. So Temu, $30 million in GMV. That's pretty fucking big. But, I've made this argument that Amazon is a premium marketplace. It's the closest thing America has to one because you have to pay to shop there. It only costs $10 a month or whatever, but it's a barrier to entry. And because of the convenience, it is never going to be the cheapest place to shop, right? As much as they try to shove in and focus on being cheap, it's never going to be the cheapest place to shop. I saw some analysis that the share of traffic they're getting, or like the similar web overlap, is like, it has like 7% overlap with Amazon, but it has 90% overlap with Dollar Tree and Tiger Global, like all those like dollar stores. So it's like, that's who they're actually going after, right? It's a demographic that isn't necessarily native to .com. And we've seen this happen with Wish. Wish got to fucking a huge GMV too.
Dude, you bring up a really great point. I was talking to a friend of mine about this too. The thing that blows me away, that like with the Temu TikTok thing, this whole like using cheap as a way to acquire customers, like cheap, like $1 items, $2 items. Like, you see the crap that they sell. Like, they take a bath financing the sale of this stuff to the consumer. They're literally like, they're losing money to acquire the shittiest customer in America. And Amazon doesn't have the shittiest customer in America. They have them too, but they have everybody. Like, they have all the best ones. That's actually the moat from a consumer perspective. Temu's not getting me. Like, I don't trust anything on these apps. When I see it for $1, I'm like, no, I'm going to get like a little toy version of whatever I want for $1, not the thing I actually want.
Dude, you're totally right. I mean, I am the worst. You should never make yourself a proxy of consumers, but I'm the type of person who it's not worth my time to return something, right? I'm the dream consumer for any company where I'll buy whatever for any price. I just don't fucking care. And I would never go on Temu because I don't want to have to use another app. It's like the barrier to entry for me is like, oh my God, I have to fucking use another app. I'm like,
No, I just
Amazon
think
wins because all my
no.
shit's on there.
I actually think that like the best customer is not on Temu. I think it's the worst quality customer you can go and acquire. I really do. I think from just a share price, like if you're a brand and you're trying to build like a real brand, I think Temu is a terrible place to be. Even if they can drive some amount of incremental revenue right now, like even in this market, I would prefer to sell less stuff than sell, because like you just have to look at like the kind of customer they're getting. Are you actually getting in front of the people that you want long term, or are they just getting you transactions?
Yeah, you're totally right. It's the absolute worst customer. So, there's interesting things afoot with Shopify and Facebook and
Oh yeah.
Amazon working together because they're combating not only the ever-present Apple and them wanting their tax, but these new emergent, rapidly growing low-end spenders. And
On this Amazon thing, maybe I want to talk about your luggage launch or the travel launch. How do you decide which products to put on which channels? Do you guys have like some system for this, some set of criteria? Like I know Mike at Simple Modern, his Amazon products are like his high volume, undecorated, build the brand products, and then on his site is all like design drops and prints and all that good stuff. But beyond that, like you guys do a little bit of that, but like how does Ridge view products in channels? And like with travel, is travel just on ridge.com, or is travel also going to be on Amazon?
look, that's a great question and something I've had to learn this year. So this is brand new knowledge in the past 9 months for Ridge. So you can get pretty far in your business without learning this stuff, but you can tune into the panzerism of the week, and it's called line plans. So what a line plan is wholesalers expect it, and we never did it.
Yep.
It is what's in line. What are you making this year or this season? Like the next one coming up would be, Q1 spring summer 2024. So what's in line? The expectation is some things are going to be in line and some things are going to be out of line, right? So there's seasonality to your business. You don't sell everything all at once. And inside of your line plan, you would section it off that like these things only go to tier 1 dealers. These things only go to tier 2 dealers. These things go to tier 3 dealers, and these things are available on Amazon. So you can section off sections of your business and like make wholesalers want a reason for customers to shop there, something exclusive, right? And they don't want everything to be a competition on price. So they don't want everybody to have something and then they all mark it down. So you have to like section off like who gets what at what MSRP. And also it gives wholesalers a reason to buy more. They can buy their way into being a tier 2 dealer or buy their way to being a tier 3 dealer to get things that aren't offered everywhere, right? And you make some sort of like guarantee like tier 2 and tier 3 things won't be on Amazon or they won't be wherever else. So with that being said, we learned all that this year. We built out the line plan. And so how do we decide what's going to be on Amazon? We want something from every category on Amazon. So right now we have probably 30 wallets available out of like the 55 we sell. So about half the catalogs on Amazon, and it's things that are never going to go out of line. So it's just core basic products that any tier 3 dealer can buy. And then with the same thing with travel. Right now we just launched on .com, but by the end of the month, travel will be fully set up on Amazon. And our travel line right now is what we consider tier 3. Anybody can buy into our travel line.
Oh, interesting.
We'll have future ornamentation and specialty or sizes or whatever that won't go on Amazon, but we want at least one thing of everything we offer on Amazon and in all wholesale. And then we line plan up and cut out, more exclusive versions.
So you're like bottom upping your categories. So you're saying like, we're going to release the bread and butter products first, and then we'll scale up whether it's ornamentation, collabs, like something else to like actually scale up both the price point and then the tiers of channels for
Correct.
travel. Oh, that's fascinating. We do like it with Lomi, we actually do the opposite. We start with the like really select channels, and then we're building product to move down into the like tier 2, tier 3. But for us, tier 2, tier 3 isn't it's actually more like moving towards mass market and higher volumes. Like, so it's lower price point, higher volumes. And we start with like higher price point, lower volumes, but like better shopping experiences. Right.
Yeah, and I think you could do it either way because obviously we both do it different ways and it works. The challenge with us is that wholesale is a very small part of our business, so that like we want something to be available in wholesale at all the time, and to like we actually give any of our new products, wholesale gets first rights to buy them for 30 days because like we're trying to like grow that channel and create excitement and newness. And there's no wholesaler right now that does nearly as like the volume as Amazon does for us, or our website obviously does for us.
And
right?
it'll be a long time before you get one.
Yeah, and I don't think it'll ever happen. Like,
Yeah.
our Amazon business is 7 times bigger than my wholesale business, maybe more, right? So I just had a whole talk with the team about this. So it's like we just want to make sure that from day one we're putting in the effort to build listings, get reviews, do whatever, because we think the travel listing on Amazon is an annuity. I think our travel listing will be there forever and print $10,000 a day.
Sure.
As long as possible. So we just want to start building that right now.
How do you view so like these channels? So like you're doing wholesale now. I know I saw in the chat you've got wallets in Best Buy that are doing well. Is this pure demand capture for you guys now as a brand? Like, I just want to be in all the places because I can sell more stuff? Or do you look at it as like, actually, it's a great way for Ridge to get in front of customers that we maybe can't reach with ads?
Dude, I have no idea. Like, I don't know why Best Buy is going so well. So Best Buy, we've wanted to be in Best Buy for a long time, but that's just because it's the only mass market retailer that makes sense for us. And people listening are probably like, it doesn't make sense. You're not an electronic product. But it has the highest MSRP out of any mass market retailer. Like, we can't be in Target because we're $100. We can't be in Walmart because we're $100. So they have, Best Buy is like 950 stores, but they sell TVs that are $5,000. So it's not weird for them to sell a wallet for $100. People walk into Best Buy willing to spend money. So we're stoked to be there. Glad it's going well. I think I said we're the best selling wallet in Best Buy history. That's like, there's not very many. So it's pretty easy to be the best selling one.
I was to say that you were one of one.
Yeah.
Have they tried to sell wallets before?
Yeah, I don't think so. But look, they're excited because we're like, I think I brought this up in chat. Like, why did Best Buy want to work with us? They don't have any modern brands. Like, Nordstrom's has their pick of any modern D2C brand, right? Walmart and Target can get any modern CPG brand they want. Nobody's making new electronics. Like, it's the legacy players, and it has been. So they're excited because it makes their store look modern, like exciting. And for us, it's just the sales have been crazy. I don't know if it's demand capture. I don't know where these fucking people are coming from, but yeah, we're selling a lot of wallets in Best Buy right now.
It's also a Q4 thing. Best Buy is a massive Q4 destination just for gift giving, and people just go into Best Buy at this time of year because it's where they go buy the new PlayStation or the new games or like something, right? That Best Buy just gets that customer, and they are a good customer with a good average basket size. Costco's another one for people listening. Like, Costco has an incredible customer that like you can't go into a Costco and not spend $500. Like, you just can't, right? So like their quality of their customer is amazing.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people listening to this like want to land retail accounts. And I've said this before, but like, we should just break it down because we don't have Mike and Jason here, who are like the best retail guys ever. So you get to hear from the B squad. But what I'll say
we're the B squad for retail. Yeah.
Yeah. Don't put that on a pedestal. getting into retail could be the worst thing for your business ever, because it's a huge pain in the ass hunting them down, doing the meetings, like selling in is super fucking hard. We talked about this in the past. We should just reiterate it again. It's really hard to sell in. They're going to take forever to pay you. There's going to be chargebacks. It's way less profitable than you think. And then you have to sell out, and you have to sell out every quarter, every month, every order, or else they cut your space, they cut your space, they cut your space. So it's a different game. It's not quick and easy. It's not Facebook ads. It's not Shopify. So it's really cool, and I'm excited to be there. Best Buy is a great partner. I think Costco could be a great partner, but it's hard, man. Like I'm saying.
Yeah, but you know what? Look, the flip side to everything that Sean just said is that if you take your time, it can be an incredible place to build your brand. Like you can absolutely, if your goal is like you want to have a really healthy company for a long time, then retail is a very powerful part of the mix. It does take longer. You don't just rip it up. Like the sell in, sell through thing that Sean's talking about, it takes a long time, and it's a game of patience. But man, it's also a game of relationships. So if you're a good relationship type person, it's a great place to build a business, because you can focus on what you're great at, right? Which is like just building the relationships and then selling through. So I think like for everything that is difficult about it, I think for a lot of like native D2C brands, retail is extreme. At least it's been for me. It's been tough to get my head around it. But then I also really start to see the value of it. Like anywhere that we're in store in like a Costco roadshow, we see a lift in sales in that region, right? For D2C, especially on those revisits. So like, I actually think there's a ton of value in being in person. A lot of commerce happens offline. Like in our space, we forget that about how many dollars actually transact not on the internet, even today.
Most dollars. I think it's 80% of all retail GMV happens offline. So
right.
Most
so to not
dollars,
be there is a big deal. Like you're saying like, I'm good with not having that 80% because it looks hard.
Yeah. And for us, I think you use the word like legitimate. Like we get to just be like, yeah, we're in all the Best Buys, go buy one. And it's like,
Yep.
Oh, okay. Like that's where real companies are. And which is great that we're next to the Apple display or whatever. You need a source of truth reporting hourly to accurately pivot budgets and campaign spend. And that one feature alone, my whole paid media team logs into it, my whole creative team logs into it, and they can see which ads are driving sales, creative, whatever, on an independent basis with real-time data, and then pivot budgets accordingly. So thank you, Northbeam, for being a sponsor. They also have a mixed media modeling tool, which this only applies for the big boys in chat. If you're spending $10 million a month, you need a mixed media modeling tool. And if I'm the first guy to tell you that, how the fuck did you get to $10 million a month and spend? Like, I'm too dumb for you to take advice from me. But that is the next level. Attribution tool first, then mixed media modeling, and Northbeam can carry you through that.
You reach a different customer, Sean. Like, I really do believe that. I think I think you actually reach a higher quality customer in retail than you do online. I'll die on that hill. Like, I think like in terms high quality being they have lots of discretionary income, right? That person tends to be older. Let's just like call a spade a spade, like over 40, they got all the money, like all the money, like there's not a chart out there that doesn't say like they have all the money. So, like go where they are.
Yeah. So my wife's an influencer. I think I've talked about that.
Yeah.
So she has a deal with Best Buy to do Aura rings. So I had to go with her to help her film a video. And the video is like, you go into Best Buy, you buy an Aura ring, you're all excited about it. And so we went at like 11 a.m. and Best Buy, like there's people walking around Best Buy. I'm like, who the fuck are these people? Why aren't they at work at 11 a.m.?
People with money.
Yeah, they're rich. They don't gotta go to work. They want to go walk around the Best Buy.
Yeah, dude. I think like if I've been doing this just for fun because we're doing the whole Costco roadshow thing with Lomi. Well, I will go and I'll just stand in Costco and I just watch what people put in their baskets and roll out of that place. And all I think is every single one of these baskets, that's not an internet order. It's not Shopify. As I just look, I watch them go by. It's like not Shopify, not Shopify, not Shopify, not Amazon either. So that there's just so much volume that happens offline. It's hard, not easy. Getting into Costco is like freaking, I heard my head of sales told me this number, man. Costco has on average like 3,800 SKUs in the average warehouse. And you contrast that with a Target, I think has like 138,000 SKUs.
That's crazy.
It's like, it's not even close. So think of how hard that is to get one of those 3,800.
Yeah, and also just speaks to like how much square footage each one of those SKUs takes up, because a Costco is 5 times the size of a Target, like maybe more. So they're dedicating a lot more space per SKU.
Yeah, they're really like, they're careful about what they bring in. It's like, I've talked about this before on the show, but I think that like the hard part for commerce right now is discovery. It's like, how do you get people to discover new things on the internet? Because it's just so easy and there's so much. The downside to Shopify being awesome is there's now like 2 million brands on Shopify. So it's like, good luck. When you go into a Costco, it's like, actually there's 3,800 products in this store. You can walk around and you can kind of see the selection. And a lot of people, they spend all their money in a Costco. My father-in-law was like that. Costco had like 85% of his share of wallet. Like, I don't even think that that's an overstatement. I think he like spent 85% of his money in Costco. They got everything. And I know other people like that. So I just think it's I think this like product to brand strategy thing, like product to channel strategy thing is really interesting. That's why I was asking about the travel piece. It's like, where do you think your travel line is now going to be a best fit to build the Ridge brand even further? You know what, dude, I got back from Vancouver last night. I was thinking about you guys because it was like, who buys fucking luggage in an airport? And I was like, I wonder, why is Sean not here? People, they must buy luggage in an airport now. Huge store in the Vancouver airport, tons of luggage. And I started thinking of the channels and Amazon, and I'm like, what? Wait, how much freaking luggage gets bought in an actual airport as people are leaving?
Dude, you're totally right. I don't know where the airport stores came from, but like Toomey has one at every fucking like airport in the world. Yeah, I think in 2024, in Q4 2024, we're going to do our own retail experience.
Oh, cool.
I'm going to buy a building somewhere, and I'll let you know how we actually end up doing it. But we finally have products that are big enough that make sense to sell like in a store. Yep. So I think that'll be good. Our luggage is going to roll out into Nordstrom. It's going to roll out into Best Buy, but I want to go back like 15 minutes. You asked, is it actually cheaper to sell on Shopify than Amazon? And, I want to break that down a little bit, and then we'll use travel as an example.
Okay.
So in theory, Shopify takes 2.5%, right? Just payment processing.
Sure.
And you give them $230 or $2,000, whatever your thing is. And that's all they take. So Shopify is cheaper. What isn't cheaper is the attention and the demand you have to generate. And that's where Facebook comes in. And Facebook could take 30% or 50% or whatever. There's no guarantee. You're paying on CPMs. You're not paying on results. Contrast that with Amazon, where they just take 15%, right? And then they take however much you would have spent on ads. So it's way more of a one-stop shop where you could buy demand and you get fulfillment and everything else. So Amazon is more expensive, just like the facts. When you put into a practical application, it's a toss-up what ends up being more expensive, right? I still think you probably have better margins as a D2C brand running Facebook ads, selling on Shopify, just because Amazon has moved up their take rate from 15%. Now there's ads and everything else that you probably can't get out spending less than 40% of revenue on an Amazon service or fee. But let's talk about how that applies to the travel rollout, right? So we launched travel last week on Thursday. Big hit. We email our list. We do messaging, whatever. But then we have dozens of high quality influencers going live. We have Travis Barker, we have PewDiePie, we have Linus Tech Tips, we have Stradman, we have ads running, we have it's a full blitzkrieg rollout that cost me millions of dollars, right?
Sure.
And all of that goes to Shopify, but then there's the spillover that we're going to have our travel up probably by the end of the week on Amazon, that we'll just start selling a ton of travel on Amazon, right? So that's when you have to start looking at it holistically, that it's like, yeah, on Amazon, I'm going to have a 10x tacos and the fulfillment's only 15%. It looks super fucking profitable, but that's coming from all of the spillover from stuff driving to my Shopify account. So right now, I still think Shopify has the edge, but that could totally change as Facebook gets more expensive.
Oh, it's this Facebook Amazon thing, right back to where we started. Like that partnership could actually give Amazon a bit more of an edge for brands when you're looking at like the fee stack and all where we all spend money. It could give Amazon an actual edge over your own site. And then the trade-off is like, do you want to give up the email address and the customer relationship? Like the easy one. You can still do it with Amazon, but it's harder.
Right, for sure.
I think you tweeted about this. A lot of smart people have been tweeting, at least that I've seen, where you should not be looking at or measuring your Q4 until Thanksgiving starts. Like until it really starts, like guys, everybody, we're just waiting around right now. Even if you started early, you're still like, you're not changing consumer behavior. I don't know if we all know that. So what's your, we're 13 days into the month. How are things looking at Ridge? Are you confident about Q4 still? Are you like, I don't know? Where's it at?
Yeah. So where that came from, that tweet, is I got like 6 text messages from different brands like over the weekend being like, hey, so how's November looking? And I was just like, guys, it doesn't fucking matter. Like if your sales look like shit or if they look great, it's like single percentage points on the month. A normal distribution, 30 days, each day is 3% of sales, right? Removing anything crazy, product launches, whatever, that's just like the way it would work out. Right now, every day is like a 0.5% of sales, maybe less. So like, even though we're doing big numbers, I mean, I'm spending hundreds of thousands a day, we're doing big numbers. I'm like, it doesn't matter because starting the day before Thanksgiving, so that Wednesday, we just start having multiple $1 million days, and that lasts for 15 days in a row. So like right now, it's very nerve wracking for a lot of people because they're like, they want to make sure that time, when the opportunity's there, they seize it. But all you can do is just be ready, like have your ads live, be seeding audiences, like make sure orders ship. But look, right now, things look slightly better than last year. I would say they look 10 to 15% better than last year, but with the caveat that right now doesn't matter at all. So I still think it's going to be a super strong Q4. Even people are saying that consumer spending is down. It's very hard to change consumer behavior, like Matt just said, and people like buying shit. So I think we have another awesome Q4 ahead of us. And if there's softness, it happens in Q1 and Q2 of next year. But Matt, what are you seeing?
Last year, this time ops was pretty scary. I mean, it got really scary like a couple of weeks before BFCM, and was one of my top 3 initiatives this year. And a big part of that was onboarding with Fulfill. We went from a bunch of Google Sheets with just our warehouse, and then back in October of last year, we set up a 3PL in Tennessee. We now have another location. So we've got 3 locations. Our business is up 100% this year. We have been front loading orders since June. It's like the stress on the system. I should be losing my mind over this right now. And it's like, it's going too well. And I know for a fact that a big part of this is Fulfill, because we've been able to really connect everything up and know where everything is. And I'm like shocked with the lack of panic at Hexclad right now. Thanks to Fulfill and a couple of key hires. It's incredible. But I'm very confident in our ability to handle things. And there's no way we would be able to get there this year if we had not implemented fulfill. Those guys went above and beyond.
I think I posted this in one of our chats, but like peel a case, I'll give that, 'cause that's my D2C business. We're up 10% right now, 12% year over year, but like ad spend is down 12%. So like it's a nice swing for us for like, again, nothing matters, right? So like the context is who gives a shit. I think we spent a little too much last year. So this year we're just trying to be a little smarter with like what we deploy now versus, next week when things start. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good actually. Like I think the consumer will show up this Q4. I think it's going to be deal insanity. I'm not sure what as a category of commerce, like what is contribution going to look like this Q4 for everybody? Because I think the discounts I'm seeing from some people are bananas. We're going to do like strong offers, but like I'm not going crazy. I'd rather just wait it out. Like it's a long game.
So last year we tried to be very conservative with offers, and halfway through the holiday season, like right before Black Friday, we had to take everything down a notch because consumers just wanted more. I think this year is going to be more of the same. The deals I'm currently seeing are very aggressive, right? We're seeing half off a lot of stores, up to 60, up to 70% off a lot of stores. And we're running some kit options where you can get 40%. Like if you buy a carry-on, you can get a backpack for 40% off, stuff like that. But I think consumers do expect a big discount. I think that ends up being a very deflationary. People have to start slicing stuff down. But yeah, I think it's gonna be a great Q4, man. I mean, I love Q4. Like this is where we make half our money. So
yeah, I was gonna say it's like half the revenue for the year, right? Comes in like 8 weeks. I do think. I mean, I think it's gonna like this Q4 is like the final cleanup of the COVID balance sheet for a lot of retailers. Like I think this is the like screw it, 50% off, 60, whatever, 70. Like let's just get rid of all the shit that we've had in our warehouses now for a year or more, 2 years. Just all that. Like again, the biggest chunk of commerce happens offline. And the biggest chunk of commerce happens in these like large multi-brand retailers. It's not D2C brands like us. So that said, right, when you look at those guys, like they've been working for the last 18 months to clean balance sheet. And this is going to be a major moment for them to do that. So I think we're seeing extremely like deep discounting just because people need to clean up the balance sheet. And this is going to be move shit out of the warehouses. And then we'll see how next year goes. So I think that's what's driving most of that discounting, man.
Dude, for sure. And the only bright spot going into next year is that manufacturing in China is slowing down, so that will create price decreases in not only raw goods, not only manufacturing labeling and capacity, but also shipping. Shipping's down 90% from all-time highs, and it probably has more room to fall because there's just less containers leaving China. So I do think we're cleaning up the balance sheet, but what that means is that next year we're starting at a place of just lower fixed COGS. I've already got COG improvements going into next year, and I think a lot of smart brands have taken the opportunity to take advantage of that.
We actually on the Lomi side, we're seeing like significant COGS improvements. Just every 6 months, I swear to God, we just find like another 15-20%. And our COGS started off terrible, so it's not like we're crushing it here. It's just like we're figuring it out how to make like technology and do it like well so that the quality's good. The peel a case, I've actually it's weird, man. I've been trading COGS wins, so like maybe I'm giving up a bit of margin and focusing more on cash conversion cycle. It's like, how do I just have less stuff on the balance sheet and then a bit more on demand? So like really moving that business. If we used to be like 65-70% of that business would have been on demand, so like manufactured on demand, I'm trying to move it closer to 80%, even though that means I give up a couple points on COGS, right? Because I could get it made cheaper somewhere else. It just means I get to keep way more cash on hand and then convert profit to cash faster.
That's super interesting. That's a trade-off everyone should think about. And that's a great end of year episode because right now I'm the opposite. I am so inventory heavy. I have $20 million in inventory right now. Right.
Ooh.
And there's some other people in chat with the same thing. Luckily there's no debt or note on those. So it's just like, that's where my Malibu dream house is. It's tied up in that inventory.
Yeah, this is your Lambo.
Yeah,
or 20 of them, whatever that is.
It's sitting there in wallet inventory.
Yeah, I mean, that's Q4 buildup though, right? A lot of brands will build inventory. Like we do, like Lomi right now, we have, $10, $15 million in inventory, something like that. Just because we're getting ready for this big push. And then we have the opposite challenge, another challenge, which is we go from Q4 being busy to March being the kickoff of gardening season, right? And then there's Chinese New Year in, the shitty January, February time period. So we actually have to load up now if we're going to, and that's like planning for March, April, May, or really March. So it's that inventory cycle sucks. So I'm kind of like taking my cash wins in Pila case.
Yeah. So shout out to the audience. If you know anyone from Authentic Brands Group and they want to come on the podcast, we'd love to have them because
oh hell yeah,
super interesting roll up. I think last time they were valued, it was $6 billion. Maybe that number is low. Maybe it's gone up from there. But they just buy mall brands out of bankruptcy, right? So they're owned by Simon Property Group, or Simon Property Group's a major shareholder. And for a while, I thought it was a retail Ponzi scheme because like Simon needs to show high rents so they can charge other people rents. And the easiest thing to do is charge themselves really high rents. So if they own all the mall brands, they could just
fair.
they could just be like, look, Brooks Brothers is paying $85,000 for this location, but Brooks Brothers is bankrupt and we own them. Right. So I think that's what I thought was happening originally. So they've just bought a ton of bankrupt mall brands and they're partnering one of their sub brands, Forever 21, famous for being a very early fast fashion, teenage brand, with Shein, the modern version of that. And really what I think that is Shein is trying to build up good graces in America so they can IPO here. Because Shein raised $10 billion at a $100 billion valuation, which they're currently probably worth less than $5 billion. So they need to IPO and return some money to shareholders and fix that preference stack. Because to explain, I'm just going back to the basics for our audience. When you raise money, there's a new share created, and it's called preferred shares. They get paid out first. That gets wiped out when you IPO. Right now, that company is underwater and they owe more money to their preferred shareholders than the company's worth. So if they IPO, it wipes it out. They want to IPO in America because that's where the future is for these Chinese first brands. And they need to curry favor with the SEC and regulators. So I think that's what the partnership comes down to. But Matt, what's your read on it?
I think part of this partnership is also just stores. Again, just going back to like how many dollars does Shein not have access to? A lot. And a lot of that happens in malls, and ABG and Forever 21. Like Forever 21, every single Forever 21 could be converted into a Shein tomorrow and they would probably outperform.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt, right? So like, I think that's the move. But I don't know. I'm not that smart. So that's what I would be thinking.
I was in Tokyo and I was at the Shein store and they're starting to build stores. And I definitely think they want to just take over the Forever 21 portfolio of locations.
Yeah. I mean, look at Zara and look at H&M. Like these companies are massive and Shein's just effectively a third player now to the H&M and Zara. Zara's of the world. So like, just cheaper. That's it.
Right. There's 5 fast fashion houses, right? So Gap funded.
Oh, right. The old guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So Gap and Old Navy, Fast Retailing, which owns Uniqlo in Japan.
Yep.
Then there's 2 European ones. So there's Zara and H&M, one doing Southern Europe, one doing Northern Europe, and then the Chinese version, which is Shein. So that's the current landscape. But all of those guys, each one of those does at least $10 billion in retail sales. So it's a massive fucking pie. and Shein. I mean, everyone has sites on America, and it's a very hard market for fast fashion to crack.
Yeah, man. I think it's about stores. And I think you're right. I think it's IPO. Like that pref stack has got to be gnarly. So like they're for sure trying to clean that up. I think that's a great call.
Dude, I mean, this is either going to be the highest rated operators podcast ever or the worst. But what I'll tell everyone is it was the easiest one to record. There's been no audio issues. Everyone showed up on time. Matt, I love just jamming with you, dude. This has been a good app.
It's fun. It's been a good hour. We gotta throw it down for the guys when they come back. They need their shit to work, and they got to bring some heat. That's the next episode.
We're gonna make those two do an episode together, and it's gonna end up being.
It won't even happen. Jason will be like dark, blacked out lighting, and you won't hear Mike.
yeah. It'll be a great one. All right, for all the real operators fans, I will make a coupon code operators. You can get 25% off travel. I'm going to limit it to 25 people total. If you buy travel,
I like that.
Thank you guys for the support. Thank you for listening to the podcast. Thank you, Sendlane. Jimmy helped me over the weekend. I had an email issue. I'm not even a client yet. I'm going to sign up in Q1.
I was going to say, you're not even a customer yet. He was helping you?
Yeah. We have a deliverability issue for our non-marketing emails, and he fucking jumped in and helped. So if you ever just need email him, jimmy@sendlane.com. He'll help you. It's the same thing with ERP implementation. Even if you're not on Fulfill, just go ahead and email Sharoon@fulfill.io.
He will help you.
He will help you. And then Austin@northbeam.com. I think it's .com. Maybe it's .io. But Austin at Northbeam, he'll help you with gardening. He'll wash your car. These guys are just there to help the e-com operators out there. So thanks for being here. Episode 30. Matt, my best friend. Thanks for being here. Bye.
It's fun, man.